Democrats demanded the forced removal of Native Americans who refused to accept state laws to their reservations in the West. Religious leaders and the Whigs opposed this action as inhumane, as they had seen in the Trail of Tears. 59. Many Seminoles in Florida refused to move west. They had fought the military for years in the Seminole Wars. The Second Great Awakening. The Second Great Awakening was a Protestant revival movement that affected the entire United States in the early 19th century and led to rapid church growth. The movement began around 1790, gained momentum in 1800, and after 1820 saw a surge in membership among Baptist and Methodist congregations, as these congregations had many missionary leaders in the movement. The movement reached its peak in the 1840s. 60. The movement added millions of new members to existing evangelical denominations and led to the formation of new denominations. Many converts believed that the Great Awakening heralded a new millennium. The Second Great Awakening sparked the formation of several reform movements, including abolitionism and temperance movements, to eradicate social ills in anticipation of Jesus' predicted second coming. 61. Abolitionism. After 1840, the growing abolitionist movement redefined itself as a crusade against the sins of slaveholders. The movement mobilized support, especially among devout women in the Northeast influenced by the Second Great Awakening. William Lloyd Garrison published the most influential of the many anti-slavery newspapers, The Liberator, while Frederick Douglass, a former slave, began writing for the paper around 1840 and started his own anti-slavery newspaper, The North Star, in 1847. 62. Most abolitionists, such as Abraham Lincoln, rejected Garrison's theology and held that slavery was an unfortunate social evil rather than a sin. Western expansion and manifest destiny. The American colonies and new nations grew rapidly in population and area as pioneers flocked to the western settlement frontier. 65. This process finally ended between 1890 and 1910, when the last major farm and ranch lands were settled. Native American tribes in some places resisted with force, but they were overwhelmed by settlers and the military, and after 1830 were removed to reservations in the West. The influential frontier theory argued that the frontier created the nation's character with its boldness, violence, initiative, individualism, and democracy. 66. Historians have emphasized the multicultural nature of the American frontier. Extensive and widespread media attention has focused on the Wild West of the latter half of the 19th century. As Hine and Faragher define it, frontier history tells the story of the creation and defense of communities, the use of land, the development of markets, and the founding of states. They explain that it is a story of conquest, but it is also a story of survival, persistence, and the integration of the peoples and cultures that emerged and continued to live in America. Through wars and treaties, establishing law and order, building farms and towns, digging trails and mining and attracting countless foreign immigrants, the United States expanded from coast to coast to fulfill the dream of manifest destiny. As the American frontier became history, the myths of the West in novels and films took a firm hold on the imagination of Americans and foreigners alike. America in particular chose an iconic image,